Meanwhile, India's airlines are flying into what some industry analysts are calling the perfect storm: high fuel costs and falling demand as the global stream of easy financing dries up. India's carriers stand to lose about $2.5 billion this year, nearly double their losses last year. And as Raymond Thibodeaux reports from New Delhi, the turmoil could put the brakes on one of the world's fastest growing aviation markets just as it was taking off.
Unlike most Americans, the vast majority of Indians travel long distances by rail. But with India's rise to prosperity, more and more Indians are taking to the air, about 33 million passengers a year. That's only about 3% of India's 1.1 billion people, so there's clearly room for growth. Still, India's air industry appears to be losing altitude. Kapil Kaul is the chief analyst for the Center for Asia-Pacific Aviation. He says the rise in fuel costs have deepened a problem that has been dogging India's air industry: too many airlines and cutthroat competition for too few passengers.
The airline industry is in a state of crisis. Mergers are necessary. It's globally a reality. In India, it's more of a reality because the kind of a competition we saw in last 4 or 5 months and the kind of levels of pricing we saw was not business at all.
The merger started a year ago as government-owned carriers Air India and Indian Airlines tied the knot. Kingfisher Airlines, owned by flamboyant Indian billionaire liquor baron Vijay Mallya, recently merged with Air Deccan, and Jet Airways bought Air Sahara. In these harsh times, most Indian airlines are forced to do more than merge, says Saroj Datta, executive director of Jet Airways. Raising fares is one of the tough choices faced by India's air carriers, whose customers have been lured by super low fares.
The domestic aviation market has an enormous amount of excess capacity, we believe by about plus 30%. And similarly, fares that have been so far charged have also been below cost by and large in order to promote traffic. So both of them have to be tackled and are being progressively tackled by the Indian carriers.
Indian airlines that have resisted mergers have taken on more foreign investors. American billionaire investor Wilbur Ross just spent $80 million for a 10% stake in SpiceJet, one of many low-cost carriers in India. The higher fares, fewer flights, and reduced services won't make travel any easier for passengers. And it's not likely to be any easier for plane makers, Airbus and Boeing. Already, market analysts predict nearly a third of Boeing's orders worldwide could be postponed or outright canceled, as some airlines merge to cut costs and others go belly up. Dinesh Keskar is Boeing's vice president of sales for South Asia, focused on the long-term health of India's airlines.
On a long-term basis, we feel pretty bullish on India. GDP will continue to grow, and these airplanes will be effectively used to really increase the tourism, increase the commerce into the country, and it'll be really good for both Boeing and India.
So far, India accounts for close to 10% of Boeing's $270 billion worth of new planes yet to be delivered.
Indians are used to being pampered by their airlines with fresh welcome towels and gourmet meals, frills that are soon becoming a thing of the past. The big fear for India's air industry is that as ticket prices rise, tourists and business travelers will start to think twice about booking their next flight to the beach or the boardroom. Raymond Thibodeaux, Nightly Business Report, New Delhi.